Imagine yourself as a young man living in the 1900s, during the time of the Second World War. But you're not a soldier or a commander. You, my friend, are a computer scientist, and your only job is to help the government by deciphering foreign codes. Pretty cool, huh? But you don't realize that after the war, you would go on to start a new revolution, the data revolution. You are Alan Turing. Alan Turing has been referenced to many times, like in the movie The Imitation Game. But in his Computing Machinery and Intelligence paper, he asked a crucial question: can machines think like humans? In the paper, he goes on to extend the idea, but let's think about it. We would first need to find the major differences between machines and humans so that we can find and develop strategies to surpass the barrier between them. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine making a robot which throws darts at a given target. But for it to work, you need to give exact values like the distance from the target, the height of the target, etc. Imagine you've made the robot. Then, under normal circumstances, it should work almost perfectly. And it's kinda obvious why it works. Now put a human who has never played dance in its place, and in that situation, they would be very inconsistent because, well, they have never played dance. Just from this, we find two main differences between machines and humans. First is that machines use exact values, and using those values, they give precise outcomes. But nobody told a human the distance or the weight of the dot. So humans use approximate intuitive values, and due to this, they produce inconsistent outcomes. Okay, now give the human a whole day to learn, and you find that they get pretty good at dots. Obviously, they learn to have better outcomes, which were almost as consistent as the machine. But now give them lighter dots, say change it from 25 grams to 15 grams, without informing them. Here, we find that the machine it would still be consistent, but it would be consistently wrong. Even the human would be bad at first, but as time goes on, they would start adjusting. Eventually, they would get more and more accurate and better than the machine. So, the main idea behind artificial intelligence is to look at these two different domains, one of precise computation and the other of natural learning, and find ways to cross the barrier between them. Now, you, of all people, know that long computations aren't really a strong suit. So, we trained machines to think like us rather than training humans to think like machines. But you can still take command of these pesky little creatures. You are the one training them. What they learn from you is what they will do in the future. It's like being a parent. If you don't teach them good habits and manners, they would not do anything useful. To kickstart your machine learning research, let me give a brief explanation of the terms you might come across. The biggest one would be machine learning. It's literally machines that learn. That's it. But you're also understanding the process of taking data and learning. So, a better definition would be using algorithms to develop computer systems which can learn on their own. Artificial intelligence, on the other hand, is what we were talking about before, some sort of human like intelligence demonstrated by machines. This is a neural network. It is somewhat inspired by our brains, but I'm not a neuroscientist, so I can't talk much about those similarities. But you can look at it like a really big and complex mathematical function. A function in maths is anything which takes in an input, does something to it, and delivers an output. Now, how it changes or transforms the input is how we define it. This massive function also has these nodes in its architecture. A node is just what we call a neuron, and as you've probably guessed, its name is based on how it's used and how it was inspired by the neurons in our brain. You can think of neuron as its own smaller function, taking inputs from the previous layer and passing its output to the next layer. These neural networks come in various shapes, sizes, and connections, and these combined together form the architecture of the neural network. And each shape depends on the number of inputs you have, how you want the inputs to be manipulated, and the number of outputs required. And that is a very brief introduction to machine learning and neural networks. If you want to learn more about them, then I could suggest some great sources. You can find the links in the description. And thank you for watching and hope you like the video.